Hello, everyone. Namaste. This is the star weather forecast for February 2025, which I titled A New Beginning. And I am so excited to be doing this forecast because finally we have something to look forward to. And this is a series of energies, series of events and transits that really allow us to have a true new beginning. I don't know why I said true. It's just a new beginning that we could actually feel, that we could actually see, that I put in the forecast summary, where it's like the Big Bang in our lives that is perceivable. It's not just vibration manifesting in the sky and ideas, concepts coming into view or congealing into something that is more in terms of ideas than manifestation or the steps to manifestation, or this series of astrological events that have to do with the North Node. This allows us to really step into a new chapter in our lives. So this is really, really exciting. And of course, I'm gonna do the summary first and get that out of the way. So at least the forecast can be succinct before I go into the chart analysis. But when I was looking into the February forecast, I was just so overjoyed that I can actually focus on something positive. The national news has been, I want to say, traumatic, I want to say turbulent, and it's been getting me down, and it's winter in the northern hemisphere. Hold on. And combined with, you can call it seasonal depression, uh sometimes like seasonal grief, during the season, just what we've suppressed during the spring, summer, the warmer months, they come up to be processed in the winter. And not according, but as you can see from the January forecast, we've been doing that, and we sort of need to continue to do that through the first quarter of 2005, just allowing that grief to come through, seeing the the cycles, the habitual cycles. You can karmic, you can call it habitual, seeing those negative cycles that have been holding us back, and sometimes familial cycles, sometimes culturally influenced cycles that have been holding us back. We've had to really honor them and then release them, because that's the only way to release it, is to know that they had their place. These these familial, cultural, even personal mandates that we've given ourselves since our childhood developmental years, they were there to protect us. And so it's the way to release them is to honor what those limitations brought us in the past, what type of security, what type of benefits that these limiting beliefs actually allowed us to have in the past, and we honor them. say thanks before releasing them. So that theme continues. I'm not saying that the January forecast becomes moot because of these really, really exciting aspects, exciting events that are happening in February. And you can see all the way through. I'm going to highlight this later, but the Venus Neptune, Venus North Node, these dates combined with the North Node conjuncting Neptune on the 22nd. This is a story arc that allows a super personal growth, a personal evolution that is going to be contributing to the universal evolution, to the transpersonal evolution, to the transgenerational evolution. So they're all in sync. They're all mirroring each other. So yeah, this is extremely exciting, and that's why for February, I'm only highlighting this event, the North Node conjunct Neptune event, because the other events, um, as you can see, many things happening in February, including Uranus direct. Jupiter is going to go direct February 4th, and then Mars is going to go direct February 23rd. So a lot of planets going into direct, moving forward now, plus Venus and Neptune coming into conjunction with North Node, with Venus, because Venus is going to retrograde. So that means she's going to come into contact with Neptune 3 times, and she's going to come into contact with North Node 3 times. Because remember, this is February 22nd. So Venus would be somewhere out here, early February, and then Neptune is going to be out here too. So Venus is going to transit Neptune first, and then transit North Node, and then Neptune is going to transit North Node, and then Venus is going to come back and conjunct Neptune again, and conjunct North Node again, and conjunct um, North Node and conjunct Neptune again. So it's tremendous. This is tremendous. And that's why I'm highlighting this event, all these transits around the North Node, so that we keep an eye out, because really we all need it. We all need to feel that sense of a new hope, a new beginning, something that is finally starting to sprout after all those years of deconstructing, demoing who we were, where we don't even recognize who we are now, compared to pre-pandemic times. We don't even our lives and our outlook and our evolution have been so altered since the Uranus the Uranus transit through Taurus, and I think through the Saturn Pluto conjunction, and the Saturn Jupiter conjunction that happened in 2020, 2021, so on and so forth. Our lives have just been rendered unrecognizable. So this is really the first time that I've seen since the start of the pandemic where we are getting a sure sense of a new beginning. Because before it was like, we're getting the download, with Pisces, with Neptune transiting Pisces, and also North Node transiting Pisces. North Node just came into Pisces, but especially with Neptune, and Saturn transiting in Pisces, we're like, yeah, we're getting downloads, we're getting a sense of where the the universal evolutionary forces would like for us to go. I mean, AI being one on a collective scale, but it's like we don't really know what that means to us personally. We don't really understand the steps yet. We haven't concretized these visions, these dreams, and these dreams are sometimes so frou-frou and so blurry. It's like we are trying to manifest a painting. We're trying to manifest an AI generated image. Have you seen one of those AI generated images where I mean, the pixelation makes it look photorealistic, but you're like, I don't know how, you know, how we can make this real. Like maybe it's a picture of a house suspended in the sky. And while it looks photorealistic, uh, we don't even know the steps to manifest. There's no way to manifest it. And I'm saying that with the start of the series of North Node conjunctions, we are getting the actual steps toward the manifestation of the dreams that we have been channeling since Neptune went into Pisces. Let me double check when Neptune uh enter into Pisces. Give me so the last. So Neptune went into Pisces 2011 and formally stayed in Pisces starting 2012. So did you notice that ever since 2012, everybody was on the spiritual path? Or, I don't want to say everybody, but the spiritual path became popular because Neptune was in Pisces. So this is when we're getting shifted evolutionary. It's like the universe is shifting us, shifting our perspective, because Pisces and Neptune has to do with our antennas being connected to the evolutionary intent, to the universal evolutionary intent. So it's like our antennas are pointed towards the celestial intents, and we're able to receive uh, more intuitive aware, psychic awareness. More people became psychic, more people had NDE experiences, more people had these transcendence, what do you call those? Out of body, yeah, out of body experiences since 2012. And so now with Saturn coming into play, it's and also North Node coming into play, and all of these planets, all of these planets now starting to push into Aries, which is all about action, starting starting the end of this year. Hold on, let me double check again when Saturn will ingress into Aries. So by May, is going to ingress into Aries, and again September, and then February. So by next year, Saturn will be in around Valentine's Day of 2026. Saturn will be in Aries and there to stay for the entirety of 2000, not entirety, entirety. Yeah, for the entirety of 2026 and 2027. So those are the times when it's go time. And now we're just we're just seeing the beginnings of of formalizing the steps that we need to take to realize uh, this conjunction here. But then, because Mercury is involved, Saturn's involved, these are personal planets, and it's like even the sun is right there. Sun's going to, of course, conjunct everything one by one through the month. It's it's like our awareness is on this manifestation, meaning that we are aware of them. They're not just in the back of our heads, like we don't know if it's a dream or not. Now it's in the forefront. We know what we're supposed to do. So this is really, really exciting. And I'm going to analyze the Venus Neptune conjunction, which is again going to happen 3 times, and Venus North Node conjunction, which will also happen 3 times next month, because this is a story arc. We already know that something big is happening in all of our lives, the Big Bang, new beginning. But analyzing Venus Neptune, Venus North Node conjunction will allow us to see where can we have a sense of fruition now. When can we taste the initial fruits of our labor now? And we know labor is involved because Saturn is involved. So yeah, speaking of Saturn, let me just go through the summary real quick. So again, number one, Venus and Neptune conjunct, or Venus conjunct North Node and Neptune conjunct North Node uh, on February 3rd and February 22nd, respectively. Of course, means a new beginning. We cover that. And then number two, this is the personal Big Bang. It's the start of a major evolutionary trajectory for all of us. And it's a 16-year long trajectory until the next time that North Node and Neptune conjunct again. And this time, it's going to be a different sign. Every 16 years, it's like I listed over here. Um, the last one in Aquarius, the one before that, Capricorn, the one before that, Sagittarius, the next one, of course, Aries. So this is a 16, it's an indication for the next 16 years and where we might gain the new direction, the new coordinates that we're getting for the next 16 years. It doesn't mean that we're getting to that coordinate right now. It's an evolution, it's a progression. But we're getting those coordinates as in, okay, now we are in, let's say we're in the UK and we want to find the Americas, and we dream of it and we have a sense of which direction we want to go with this conjunction. It's like everything comes together so that we actually get some sort of coordinates for the Americas. So this is why I say this is absolutely major. And then number three, Saturn is involved, I talked about. So that means Saturn is mixed here with the bunch, and Saturn is going to conjunct North Node. Double check that for all of us. Uh, Saturn's North Node this April. Yes. So again, that means that whatever it is that we're trying to realize, it just takes routine and takes work, especially because in our collective charts, uh, this entire cluster happens in the 6th house. So that means routine, setting up the step by step, and being consistent with the work, being consistent with building the foundation. And whatever it is that we do personally over here, this new personal big bang that happens for us will eventually be in service of the universal and transpersonal evolution. Because Pisces is just transpersonal. But because, again, the personal planets are involved, uh, what actually shifts, or I'll put it this way instead. We're able to see these transgenerational shifts, these new beginnings, huge universal new beginnings reflected in our personal lives. So it's not just something that happens out there in the collective. It actually affects us personally. So number 4, support of Jupiter, of Mercury to communicate visions in terms of actionable steps to get support. That's why I say that it's actually possible to um, break down very conceptual visions and dreams into actionable steps this time, and to really make use of this characteristics for this conjunction, because usually with Mercury in Pisces, we kind of don't know where we're headed. We're able to receive these, it's like receive these amazing concepts. We have these amazing concepts in our minds, but we're not able to break them down into practical, actionable steps. And I'm saying that this time because Mercury is in mutual reception with Jupiter in the ninth, and Jupiter by now is direct and happily situated in Gemini, which means transactions. You can go into business. It's so practical that you can go into business transactions to make this dream come true. It's that practical. And you're able to communicate it on a very, very day-to-day level, so that you're not just spitting out frou-frou things. You're not just spitting out, you're not just painting a beautiful picture without actually telling people what you actually need to help you succeed. This time, you know exactly what you need to help you succeed, to help you manifest wherever 28 degrees of Pisces fall in your chart. And so check, number 5, check where 28 degrees of Pisces fall in your birth chart. This is where you're just gonna get an influx of information. Either it's a download or somebody gives you that spark. Somebody gives you just an idea in a conversation that gets you rolling. But let me see. I want to say because Saturn is involved, so chances are you kind of already have been working on this. You kind of already have been channeling this, just because Neptune and Saturn have been in Pisces for a while now, so you kind of know what this is. It's just that with the advent of North Node coming into play, with all of these energies and forces, personal and transpersonal, it's like now you are actually getting a boon. it's a boon and it's a big one to really get some clarity on how to move forward. It's a boon to concretize this vision uh, on an even more uh, practical level. So we are now bringing the dream world down another level to somewhere that is getting closer and closer and closer to Earth. So I'm going to say that the download or the information or the new beginning that we're going to receive has more to do with how to make it a reality than really something that is sort of completely new. Whereas when I was analyzing the same conjunctions, the Neptune North Node conjunctions that happened in 2008, 1991, 74, those were more truly out of the blue, big bang, just like a book falls on my lap and suddenly I'm getting all these new thoughts, new ideas, and new directions in life. It's not so much like that this time. The inspiration that we're getting is on how to make something more practical, how to make something so conceptual, more practical, so that we could manifest that through Saturn efforts, through Saturn practice, through consistent work. Because remember, Saturn is going to go into Aries and we're going to be made to do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work. So it's like the example that I was thinking about was if your Saturn, or not Saturn, but if this cluster, if Pisces over 28 degrees falls in your eighth house, let me just 7, 8. So it's possible that your ascendant is Leo. That may not be it, just because sometimes there's self-contained houses depending on um, where you live in the world. If you live in higher, not altitude, higher, what are the horizontal, not longitude, um, shoot, like if you live closer to the poles of Earth, that means you're gonna get self-contained signs. So be sure to just cast your chart and see where 28 degrees of Pisces fall in your chart. But anywho, just giving example in terms of whole signs. Let's say you're Leo ascendant and then Pisces fall in your eighth house. Completely possible that you are getting a boon in terms of inheritance, and chances are this is coming because knock on wood, your Aunt Linda hasn't been feeling well. I'm not trying to make light of this because this actually could happen, but it's such a um such an easy example that I'm just gonna give it. So Aunt Linda has been ailing for a while. We all know what's coming. And so with this conjunction or series of conjunctions, so it may not happen immediately for you on the 22nd when North Node and Neptune actually conjunct, but it may happen, through the Venus conjunctions uh, through May. Yeah, through May. So just the first half of the year, this may come. Um, so you know, and then your dear Aunt Linda passes, and we send her on her way with grief, with sadness, with relief that she has passed on. And somehow, through the graces of your close bond with her, perhaps you get an inheritance. Maybe you inherit investments, maybe you inherit a house, Maybe you inherit a wonderful, like a Picasso painting, maybe not this big, maybe like a Picasso sketch. And now, sure, you're getting a boon, but also because Saturn is involved, you have to do the work. If it's a house that you inherited, you now have to do the work. It's kind of like Ghosts, right? The CBS show or the UK version of Ghosts, where this couple inherits this house from their aunt, and that means they have to fix up the house. Saturn is involved. That means they have to talk to all the vendors and contractors to fix up the house. This is Mercury and Jupiter um, coming in and communicating what actually needs to be done with the trades, with the commercial community, so that you get the help you need to receive this boon. You get the help you need to achieve your dream. And in Ghosts, it's opening up um, not an Airbnb. It's to open up a bed and breakfast, and that takes time. Again, Saturn is involved, and that's why I'm using this example, because like the Ghosts TV show example is perfect. It's kind of like that, except the only difference is you already sort of know Aunt Linda, and you know something's coming to an end, and you know it's like probably you're gonna inherit, but now you have to do the work. But then is it good news? Yeah, it's good news, and it propels you to a new stage in life. Your life is not going to be the same after this. That's also another main point, is that our lives are not going to look different after this. And this is going to affect us for the next 16 years. And that's why this is so exciting. Get ready for the work, but this is extremely exciting. And so, like, I'm so happy that finally I get to record a forecast where I could be excited about it. I could feel passionate about it. And it's like I'm chomping at the bit, and like, yes, it's going to be hard. And there's going to be, because Mercury and Jupiter are involved, especially Jupiter involved in Gemini, the sign of commerce. There really is going to be a lot of exchanges, commercial activities, even contracts that needs to happen for this vision to come into realization. So, so for Leos, or those of you whose 28 degree of Pisces fall in the eighth house, that was sort of your personal reading, where you literally might get a financial boon, some sort of financial big bang, a financial new start, or like this loan is finally comes through. You're getting a new start. The loan comes through. But then you have to do the work to repay the loan, or set up some sort of your own personal financial plan so that you make sure that you can pay off the loan. But again, this is long term. Whatever this is long term. But it will be, whatever the result is, it is going to be in alignment with universal evolution. This is where um, the universe naturally wants to take us. You're getting this boon, you're getting this big bang, because it is in alignment with where the transpersonal energies are shifting towards. So they're all aligned together, because the the transpersonal and the personal planets are both involved. Whereas again, for the past uh, Neptune North Node conjunctions, it's more like we are we are aligning to these transpersonal shifts. We align to them. And now it's more of a we are having personal shifts in conjunction with the universal shifts. Same difference for a lot of people. I get it. It sounds like a same difference, but to me, there's subtleties in there that makes this particular Neptune North Node conjunction especially spectacular because it's both on the collective front and the personal. Let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much not a summary. Sorry, guys. That's like a 35-minute summary, but that's how you can tell I'm really excited. So let's go into the body of the text now, and I would just take a short tea break as always. Yeah, I just feel like with everything that's been shifting, and with all the Pluto transits, all of last year, it was every time I look at the charts, I couldn't get out of the the deconstruction, deboning theme. And that 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 was that could get pretty excruciating because I end up having to focus on the deboning, on the deconstruction, uh, as the themes of the forecast. And I prefer to focus on the positive, really. And I would prefer to balance out the negativity that could be um, so focused on the internet, and balance that with what we can grasp to really remember that humanity is still pretty hopeful, that these are just growing pains and the light is coming. So I think with all these North Node transits, the light is we're finally seeing that light. Okay, so I already talked about um, the transits or the events that are going to happen in February. So yeah, February carries one big energy that brightens the entire month, and that is the Neptune North Node conjunction, February 22nd. This is an amazing once every 16-year opportunity to literally experience a celestial download or infusion that would propel us towards the next stage in our evolution in our lives. This is the light that we've all been waiting for in these turbulent and uncertain times. And I put these past dates for Neptune North Node conjunctions so that you could think back your own life and see what major events happen for you during those times. So I'm using my own example just for all of us to get a sense of what this could be. So in my own example, I can date back to 1991. I can't, wasn't born in 74, but in case you were, there's also the conjunction in 74. So in 91, I moved from Taipei, where I was born, to New York briefly for a year, and that's when I picked up English for good. And that is huge. That is evolutionary huge for me as a person. But also it was, English was becoming a global trend. Not that it hasn't been before, but as globalization happens through the advent of planes and and ships and, you know, the transcontinental transportation, its globalization was starting to happen in the 90s. So the fact that I learned English was actually sort of a transpersonal evolutionary energy towards globalization. So that's how I relate to it, is that um, in the 91 conjunction, things were happening in our personal lives so that we could align to these global shifts. And in 2008, now referring to the Neptune North Node conjunction in Aquarius in 2008, I read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now and got on the spiritual path and never looked back. And of course, in 2012, as I was saying, Neptune formally ingressed into Pisces. But already in 2008, the first waves of that was already there. And Aquarius can also be the spirituality of the collective. I don't want to say spiritual, it's like humanities of the collective. And when we have Neptune in Aquarius, it becomes um, sort of a spiritual orientation of humanity, the spiritual focus on humanities. And so that's when, you know, Eckhart Tolle's book fell in my lap. I don't even remember how I got to know his book, his work, but it's like I got the book as a part of the entire collective energetic shift towards a spiritual view, a spiritual orientation of humanities represented by Aquarius. So it wasn't really personal, even though the power of now had personal effects on me. The fact that I got the book was just a part of the larger universal movement to instill more spirituality in humanities. So I hope that that makes sense. So now in 2025, the conjunction will happen in my fourth house, signifying a new start in my home life, of potentially a newfound sense of internal security. Fourth house has a lot to do with internal security. Of course, I'm going to cross my fingers and knock on wood. And I sort of interpret this as having been training in family constellations. It's a form of therapy developed by Bert Hellinger. And I've been training in this modality since last year. And it's been just giving me a complete new outlook on life. It's a complete new outlook. And I'm not sure yet how this is, or how, you know, Saturn is going to play out, how I'm going to concretize this, or how I might start to play with the concepts a little more in relation to astrology. I don't know yet, but this is definitely one of those things where I'm looking forward to that big bang. Like, I already know the subject matter because Neptune and Saturn have been there. And so I know the subject matter is family constellations, but I don't know yet of how I can actually concretize those concepts more into my life. And whatever that I end up getting, the step by step, the personal routines that I end up getting to implement in my life, uh, wherever that's number one, sort of, I don't know what that boon, that big bang is going to give me in terms of how to further implement this in my life. But I will definitely know through the Neptune and Venus transits over North Node, I will definitely get those big bang ideas. And number two, it's whatever those big bang ideas are and whatever steps that I end up taking, wherever I realign myself towards that new coordinate, those steps leading to the coordinate will definitely be in alignment with the evolutionary forces, with what, with sort of the celestial intentions. They will be aligned. So it's like my improvement in my personal foundation aids the transpersonal evolutionary foundations, or it helps the universe in achieving that next step in terms of its own evolution. So again, crossing my fingers and knock on wood that happens. So again, think back to these dates, and what happened for you that time to sort of project the magnitude of these events, the North Node conjunction events that will happen for you this time. And these events would seem fated, destined, undeniable, and can carry energies of growth and evolution. Again, it's all about the next stage of growth and evolution for the next 16 years. And it's like, for me, the last round was all about the spiritual path. And today I'm able to do this. I'm able to read a chart to really connect with the universal energies and to connect with a modality like family constellations and utilize family constellations on a practical level is because, the start of my spiritual journey with Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Absolutely. So here's the chart again. Just my screen so see. Let me see. Actually, let me go through the text and then come back to the chart. So if we look at the above chart as cast in the Pacific West Coast time zone, we see that for the collective forecast, we are gaining something that is hugely practical, aiding of our daily work and personal routines in the sixth house. So if you are, I want to say, like, if you are in the last degrees of Virgo, and in the early and middle degrees of Libra, our collective direction would actually mirror your personal direction. For the rest of us, we get to have two. So we are influenced by the collective energies, the collective directions, and also what actually happens in our personal house, or where 28 degrees fall in our personal. So as I mentioned, mine just happens, 28 degrees happens in my fourth house. So I'm getting both energies from the fourth house perspective and also the sixth house perspective. So now we're going into the sixth house perspective. Yeah, sixth house has to do with daily routines, personal routines. It could also be about new health regimes, diets, pets, coworkers. We're getting a boon there. And series. It's actually a series of boons, series of aha, series of, I want to say there should be like, there is one big bang sort of, and then multiple ahas, multiple realizations, multiple little little milestones and fruitions that allow us to take um, the next step and then the next step and then the next step. So yeah, it could be in any of these subjects. And for example, like diets, right? If we have our goals set on, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want to lose 5 pounds. um it's we just like for some, like we've had this goal for a while, and somehow during these transits, north node transits, we're able to get inspirations out on how we're actually gonna manifest this. You know, for some reason we become clear about the step by step. Okay, I need to communicate my goals, and my goals are no longer frou-frou, as in I want to end up looking uh like a movie star. Let's say I want to end up looking like Nicole Kidman, or I want to end up looking like Reese Witherspoon. And what do I what do I need to do? I just, maybe before this conjunction, we're like, I just want to look like that, but I don't know what to do. And with these series of North Node conjunctions, we start to get concrete ideas like, oh, I need to join a gym. Oh, I need to do research on which gym is the most practical for me so that I would actually go. And oh, I need to now interview coaches, training coaches, or nutrition specialists, something like that, where it takes commercial activity to realize our dreams, contractual activities to realize our dreams. And that's good. That means we are getting closer and closer to Earth. And so that's the example on diet. And just because we set these routines up doesn't mean that we get to stop. Again, once Saturn, all of the cluster moves to Aries, we got to keep going. With anything Saturn involved, it has to be a routine. It has to be practice into a routine. And we have to keep going that route, right? It's like once we plot a course from, let's say, from Plymouth to uh to Boston, you know, we have all the steps figured out, and we have the merchants that are necessary for this journey on board, ready to go. Do we just anchor in the harbor? No, we have to uh now embark on the journey. You know, we have to raise anchor and actually go, and actually keep going, consistently keep going, regardless of the storm, which are still there, regardless of the turbulence, which are still there, regardless of whatever other resistance hurdles that we might face on the journey, pirates, whatever, you know, unforeseen circumstances, still all there. But what's exciting is that we now have the coordinates, and we now actually have the resources on board. And that that is worth looking forward to. All right. So that was the diet example and the maritime example. With Saturn in the mix, we know whatever this is would involve consistent, regular practice, or work and effort required. And chart ascendant ruler Mercury also in the 6th house in mutual receptivity with Jupiter. 9th, which suggests that this conjunction comes with the ability to break down conceptual goals into practical and actionable steps so that we can communicate the steps to others to bring the goals to fruition. I've covered that in the example already. Um, so here I'm just saying that, again, repeating that Pisces can be loopy, but because um, Jupiter, which rules Pisces, is in the clear-headed Gemini, this is a huge plus, a huge benefit for us to get into practical uh, commercial activities, to be in the marketplace, to get our resources, to get the support, to get the help we need to manifest this thing. Plus, Mercury is in trine with Mars in Cancer 10th, looking to Moon in Capricorn 4th, then Saturn Pisces 6th, then back to Neptune North Node conjunction. There is enough momentum and dynamism here to suggest that swift and organized action can be made to move our lives forward in a new direction. There's a lot of dynamism here. So first, Mercury just trining Mars, now stationed and ready to move forward on next day, 23rd. So Mars is gunning to go, ready to put some action on it and to make an impact on our own legacies. And Mars is looking to the moon in Capricorn in the 4th, which means we are internally organized. For some reason, like we are sharp, we are clear about what this needs to look like. We have that clear vision of we need this much food to cross the Atlantic to go from Plymouth to, is it Plymouth? Oh my God, my what is the most western part of the UK? I think it is Plymouth. Um, I'm gonna embarrass myself if it's not. Let's just say it's going from Plymouth to Boston, and we need this much amount of food. We need how many cooks? We need how many sailors? Um, and the captain needs this. What type of navigational equipments do we need? And how big does this ship need to be? Blah, 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 blah. We are organized with this Capricorn moon. We're just, our instincts are spot on in terms of this needs to happen, and then this can happen, and then this can happen. So there is clarity of mind here. Moon is in his own house in the 4th house. Moon sometimes is not too comfortable in Capricorn and showing emotions. It's lacking in that side. But, you know, for the intents and purposes of this chart, it is perfect. It is perfect. So, um, and then and then again, this moon, because in Capricorn, it looks to Saturn and Pisces, back to, you know, back to the Pisces cluster. And then Saturn and Pisces will look to Neptune and Jupiter. And so, again, back to all of these planets supporting the manifestation of the dream, supporting the embarkment, supporting to the start of the journey. We are embarking now. We are embarking now. We're a long way from getting to the destination and disembarking, but we are embarking on this new journey. And that to me is worth celebrating. Now, so that's that bit. Yeah, so the momentum is wonderful we're going to feel it, especially with the Venus conjuncting, the Venus retrograding through all these planets again. Venus is going to hit these planets going forward into Aries in February, and then she's going to backtrack, retrograde, and hit these planets again through March, April, and May. Yeah, through May. So there is a lot of momentum in making this happen. So this is indeed a new direction that will affect us for the next 16 years. So excited for everyone, whatever 28 degrees of Pisces fall in our charts. I know things have been difficult, turbulent, so be sure to keep an eye out for whatever good tidings and new beginnings that this Neptune North Node conjunction can bring. You know, it doesn't guarantee the smoothness of our journey for the next, it doesn't. But it gives us a boon for a smoother new start. It gives us the boon of having the resources, having the communication skills to bring the resources together, to bring all the help that we need together to have this new start. So I won't go into each sign placements, but this is one of those events where you want to know where 28 degrees of Pisces fall in your chart. You want to know. And I recommend after you check your birth chart, and here is a link to cast your own birth chart through astro.com, and wherever you get your birth chart, after you see where 28 degrees of Pisces fall in your chart, you can come back to this link, Cafe Astrology, and it has an interactive chart where if you, let's say, you find that 28 of Pisces fall in your third house, it actually gives you, it's like, it gives you an empty chart, and you can click on the third house to see the general meanings for third house, and you can extrapolate the boons, the big bang that could happen for you according to those short descriptions. So that's that. Yeah, so we've had enough of not so great news for the start of the year. So that's why I say I'm going to cap it right there for the February forecast and not go into uh, the planets going direct. These are important too. Uranus direct, that's huge. Jupiter direct, that's huge. Mars direct, that's huge. They're all huge. It's just that I find them to be in support of this new beginning. So just know that with these planets going direct, is that we're gaining more momentum. We're able to receive the resources, the energy, even the inspiration, the passion to move forward again. Uh, yeah, so I just want to keep us focused on the positive, and hopefully the coming month would be a joyous one for you and full of excitement for this new chapter, because uh it's been tough. Yeah, I know it really has been super tough. Let me see if there's anything else to this before I go. I know Pluto is just hanging out here happily in Aquarius still, and uh yeah, with Pluto, it's still a big part of the conversation with Mars. So that's why I say that, hate to bring the conversation back there, but it just, this continues to indicate our need to release past cycles, to uh, release what's not working for us anymore, the parts of our personality, the parts of our character that were formed through defensive mechanisms, that were formed through a need for survival, instead of being formed through the habits that we want to keep, the good routines we want to keep, um, the actual cycles that allow us to cycle up instead of cycling down. So that conversation is Pluto Mars conversation is consistent because Mars, now that it's moving uh, forward, it's going to go back to Leo and form an opposition with Pluto in April. So that really hasn't stopped, and we just have to continue releasing the gunk within us while receiving inspiration for the new. It's no longer just about releasing the gunk, honoring what they were, honoring those scripts that really helped us survive in the past, but now releasing them. And now we're getting new scripts. And that is the exciting part. So now it's two things: releasing and getting new scripts. So yeah, I think that really covers it for February. It is a shorter month. How many days do we get in February? 28 days. And again, look forward to these new beginnings. Look forward to sun inspirations and look forward to whatever it is that you've wanted to realize, that you really wanted to anchor the dreams into reality, and you are needing the step by step. You're missing the practical steps, and now look forward to the practical steps finally appearing, finally congealing, and finally you can get your team together, you can get your support and resources together to move forward, to receive the necessary coordinates to now move forward. So it is concretizing the dreams that we have been dreaming. So thank you so much, everyone. That is the February 2025 forecast. May you have a wonderful, wonderful start to this new year. So I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you so much.